Inexperienced Dealman, presenting you with a public apology. You see, every week we present Q Times, a high quality show with weekly guests, full of packed drama, adrenaline, thrills, you name it, it's all there. However, on this week, I dropped the ball and we don't have a guest. So therefore, hello you oh no.
Oh, don't be like that. It's not all
this
bad.
guy.
At least you know what I'm about to say, eh?
Oh no. How on earth did this happen?
Certainly could be worse.
Well, Inexperienced Dealman, as you hear, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
Question 1. Who are you and what exactly is Q Times? Okay, so I'm Sam. I am north of 30. I'm some old bloke that likes to take cameras to theme parks. Q Times is effectively a podcast style format where we ask all of our household theme park creators the kind of questions that perhaps you won't see either in their videos or on their lives. I think some of it is a bit of trivia about creators. I think some of it is about actually getting to know these people as people rather than just the rides that they go on, and it gives them an opportunity to talk more about their personal opinions on their own experiences. Well, that is a refreshing and yet embarrassing aspiration. Good on ya. So tell me, how did Q Times come to be? Q Times came to be because I went to Phantasialand in Germany on an overnight coach, and I was fortunate enough to be on the same coach as Joe from Theme Park Insanity. I had a very nice conversation with him, and it really kick-started a kind of passion of just wanting to talk to people about rides and theme parks. So as soon as we got back from Phantasialand, by the way, I had a fantastic time. We had a brief conversation and he agreed to come and do the show. And thus we have episode 1 of Q Times. And then from there, I've just been DMing people, getting responses. Some people air me out, it's fair. And we just kind of been going from there. Oh, truly an inspiring story. It has, in fact, brought a tear to my eye. What's a theme park opinion guaranteed to ruffle some feathers? Oof, guaranteed to ruffle some feathers. Okay. So I think a lot of people have said that the creator space within the theme park enthusiast is already quite saturated. I'm going to go one further and say that actually I think there is a percentage of creators that don't really add any value to the industry. I think that we have a lot of complainers, we have a lot of resharing, we have a lot of recycling content. I think that there is a massive opportunity for creators and parks to work closer and actually be more creative rather than critiquing. So yeah, that's my point. I think as a enthusiast community, we should look to inspire creativity rather than simply critique. Well, I look forward to seeing the hate mob in the comments. On to the next question. If you could fix one theme park problem overnight, what would it be? It would be consistency at theme parks, where a guest when they go through those gates, knows with complete certainty that the rides aren't going to go down, the ride availability will be appropriate for their day to maximise their enjoyment. All of the effects are working on those rides. You know, we're not going to have, oh, is this working today? Is that working today? Everything works all of the time. Now, I appreciate from a technical standpoint, from a financial standpoint, operationally, it's just not feasible. However, if I had a magic spell, absolutely. I'd like to see Toon Blaster's Boulder going every day and the Ninky Nonks and the Tink Tonk Tummy Wumps in the Night Garden thing. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see it all going all of the time. Easy. Wow. Beautiful. I mean, at this point, I think that, bookies will start taking odds on whether or not Crop Drop's actually spinning or not. Oh! The most mind-blowing experience that you've had at a theme park. Okay, so my most mind-blowing theme park experience, I'm afraid, is a basic bitch answer. No, not that.
It was riding
one.
Hyperia for the first time.
In my defence, I rode the back row. In my defence, it was the first train of the day. In my defence, I'd never ridden anything like that, and I was sent immediately into space. That was mind-blowing. If you want to talk about parks, I've got to say Phantasialand was mind-blowing from start to finish. Outside of the fact that I probably hadn't slept the night before or the night after, it was amazing. Everything was perfect, down to the finest details. The food was perfect. There wasn't, you weren't peppered with arcades and claw machines and all of that nonsense. It was theming. It was enjoyment. It was fun. There was, intention and care to detail in there. For me, Phantasialand is one of the most complete experience theme parks that I've visited, and as a park, blew my fucking mind. If you had to describe your favourite ride in 3 words, what would they be? If I had to describe my favourite ride in 3 words, it's pretty simple. Go, go, go! I love Stealth. The launch is incredible. It's punchy. I've ridden other launch coasters. Again, we touched on Phantasialand a second ago. So Taron, obviously, phenomenal coaster. I think it's great. I think it's excellent. The launches themselves aren't as punchy as Stealth. The top hat on Stealth is fantastic. Just everything about Stealth to me is fantastic. It's a quick. The ride's very quick. It's not overly intense. It is a launch. It is what it's supposed to do. And it's phenomenal at that. And it's great at that. And there's a reason why at Thorpe Park, when it's opening times, you get people sprinting to Stealth instead of Hyperia. That's not to say it's better than Hyperia. I just think that there's a different kind of appeal. Hyperia is faster, I believe, and I don't think that's necessarily up for debate. But from a launch intensity standpoint, I never really feel like that with Hyperia unless I'm on the back half. I was hoping for something slightly more adventurous. So tell us all, what's the future for Q Times? So what's next with me? What's next for Q Times? Okay, so Q Times has got some pretty interesting plans for the future. We are obviously still always looking for guests. We're trying to get Disney guests, Universal guests. We want to try and get more into the chains. We're trying to get over to, America and speak to some American guests. Obviously the visits are on. I've got to do the 7 European parks for the Blackpool, the Tour de Blackpool video that's coming out. My priority isn't necessarily America. However, I'd love to have American guests, and I'd love to have a larger variety of people on the show to provide a wider spread of opinions and expertise. At some point, perhaps we'd like to have some professionals on the show, maybe some executives. Again, some people from the creative space would be quite good as well. I think it's one of those ones where the show itself is currently criminally underwatched, but we persevere, and hopefully the 5 people that watch this every week will eventually make it, into something truly special, more so than it already is. Right, the grand finale, show and tell. What have I bought for myself? Right, so show and tell. This is a good one for you. Here, I present to you. Oh, he's wearing knickers. Let me try that one again. I present to you one 25 or so year old Spyro. Still intact, and also there's no hole on the bottom, just in case there was up for debate. So this particular Spyro I actually won at Thorpe Park many years ago. It was after riding Tidal Wave, probably in August, September time, when it was slightly colder. My hands were frozen, and it was one of the side shows that was near to KFC, and you had to knock the 3 blocks off and had to leave the platform, whatever. Now I was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 at the time, and I could barely throw, but I spent about £25. Lo and behold, we have ourselves a Spyro. He certainly has seen better days. I don't think he'll be chasing any nasty Norks or Riptos anytime soon. But as far as the oldest piece of theme park merch, memorabilia or item, this is it. Winner, winner. Well, Sam, from one Sam to the same Sam, I look forward to my future plans. Thank you for coming on the show. Have a great day. Well, do you know what? It's actually been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. I might come on again.